Hey everyone, hope everyone is well and healthy leading up to the holiday season. Just thought I'd make a quick video today just to give sort of a 2.5 year update as to my experience with 0.5 milligrams of finasteride daily. So far so good. There hasn't been too much that's changed in the way of hair loss progression or symptoms or potential side effects or anything like that. I think 0.5 is a very good entry-level dose for people who are thinking about hair loss and are potentially a bit worried about the potential side effects. It's definitely more of an entry-level dose where you're not subjecting yourself to the full 1 milligram. In reality, there's vastly diminishing returns from 0.5 milligrams to 1 milligrams in terms of the drug's effectiveness. You still get significant amount of 5AR inhibition, which consequently leads to much lower level of DHT in the scalp. It's anywhere in the vicinity of sort of 50-60%, whereas the full dosage is up to 70% DHT inhibition. And then obviously you have more aggressive 5AR inhibitors like dutasteride, which are more around that sort of 90% upwards mark in terms of inhibition there. And that's not just two of the enzymes, it's all three of them. So it's a much more aggressive form, and it obviously stays in the system a lot longer than finasteride, which really has a much shorter half-life relative to dutasteride. But in terms of progression of hair loss, I understand I know my camera's a bit poor quality. It's very low budget over here in sunny Sydney, but you can see there's nothing's really changed. And I think the key really is that in the shower as well, you don't notice any sort of hairs, a significant amount of hairs coming off in the shower. You still get the odd strand, but it's vastly diminished rate of shedding relative to what it was prior to the commencement of finasteride. And I noticed, as well, it's just something that you don't think about hair loss anymore after you get on treatment, and it seems to be working. It's something that you just pop like a multivitamin every day, and to be honest, I get more side effects from a multivitamin, which turns my urine neon green whenever I go for a piss, which looks like I'm dehydrated at 8 a.m, which may or may not be the case, but it's just one of those things where I think people really get in their own head and sort of fear mongering and all that type of stuff. But the reality of the situation is that it's a very well studied drug, and the side effect profiles are very well understood. And the real incidence is lower than 2% or even 1% of people are going to experience adverse side effects, and it's just something that people have to educate themselves on, because there's definitely sort of an echo chamber online that you can get into, and a lot of fear mongering about the drug. But it's one of the most prescribed drugs. I think it was 9 million prescriptions in the US. The data might be a little bit old there, but it's a lot of people are prescribed this drug, and it's something that is, provided you get the right doctor that understands the actual drug and is actually not Googling it in front of you, then the profile and the actual incidence of side effects, that's something that they should be able to explain to you. And if you got people telling you to start on Rogaine and see how you go, then obviously they don't understand the true underlying cause of what's causing hair loss, which is the lack thereof of inhibition of DHT, which is slowly miniaturizing the hair follicles. And that's just something that's very well understood now. It's why 5AR inhibitors, as of 2022, are the number one defense against hair loss. And it's all these different companies out there that I'm sure you're aware of from, I guess if you're in the US, it's more Keeps and all things like that. But they effectively just put a sliding scale in terms of dosage and in terms of aggression of hair loss, and put you on a little subscription plan like you're paying your Netflix every month. But it's something that the reality of the situation is the only way is that to alleviate hair loss is through hormone intervention, and that's through 5AR inhibition. But in terms of my actual hair loss, there's nothing really to update. 2.5 years now, taking 0.5 milligrams daily, which a lot of people have asked me, how do you actually take 0.5 milligrams? Well, it comes in a 1 milligram tablet, and it's as easy as going to Chemist Warehouse and getting a pill cutter and popping the pill in half. And you do get some weird looks when you're at the office and you're cutting pills at your desk, but it's something that it's very easy to do, and every now and then, like work gets busy. Obviously, I work in corporate finance and M&A, and that's a very intense job at times. It's very up and down in terms of hours, and some days you forget, and that's fine because it's effectively a pause button, and there's the normal 5AR enzymatic activity takes a while to regenerate. It's probably 1 to 2 months before re-establishes itself, and ultimately you'll get the recommencement of hair loss. So that's something that, don't fret if you miss a day or two there, but it's something that you want to be getting at least sort of a 0.5 milligram daily effective dosage. So whether or not you do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a lot of people have asked about. There's no issue there at all, really. Like the Hair Loss channel, which has Russell Knudsen and his other friend, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they're very well versed, and that's the dosage protocol that they advise. So if you miss a day, what I like to do is if I miss 0.5 milligrams on a Friday, then I'll take 1 milligram on the Saturday to catch up, if that makes sense, and then just deal with it that way. It's not something that people need to get too caught up about, as long as I'm talking about oral finasteride here, obviously, but so far so good. Hair loss is pretty solid, still pretty good in the temples and all that, so and nothing in the crown, but mainly no shedding, no significant amounts of shedding, and my hair loss really isn't aggressive at all, and I'm just turned 30, so it's nothing, it's something obviously on the mind, and a lot of people around me that are potentially a little bit concerned about it, but it's not something that people need to, if it's just something that's really slowly accumulating. Obviously the best form of treatment is prevention, rather than trying to recapture or obtain significant regrowth, because the reality is it's just very difficult once you allow it to progress beyond a point where perhaps you're not happy with it and you think, oh, I'll just get a transplant. Well, it's not that simple, and a transplant is a very weirdly manual and invasive procedure that is, very uncomfortable and very if you're not, there's a lot of horror stories about people going to different places and getting hair transplants and, not having a good experience. So, it is, to get an actual reputable and well done transplant, it does cost a bit of money, which is significantly more than if you 10 or 20 years of finasteride, however long you're on the drug, and especially if you're microdosing it or, customized dosing it like I do, in which you're getting using 0.5 milligrams daily instead of 1 milligram daily. It's a much more cost-effective way and long-term, and there's obviously other health benefits to finasteride, in that, there's the benign prostatic hyperplasia aspect of it, and there's just other general issues that arise with elevated DHT levels. It's something that once you get past puberty, it's not particularly useful in the body. And now, obviously, in different people react different ways, and I'm not trying to put a wet blanket over everyone else that does experience side effects and genuine side effects, and it's not just something that they've noceboed themselves into, but it's something that people shouldn't be fearful of. And if you just try the drug and obviously do this with the consultation of a healthcare practitioner, and if it's something that you think's right, and if you actually give a crap about your hair loss, then it's something to look into. But if not, more power to you. Do whatever you want. It's your body, your hair, or lack thereof, in 10 years, so you can do whatever you want with it, or nothing with it, if you will. But for me, it's something that I've have a very good understanding of, and it's something that I'm very comfortable in taking, and it's so far so good, had good results. It's pretty much all to update there. So hope everyone's well and healthy, and having a good has a good break over the December period, and I'll try and post a bit more regularly, but until then, ciao, bye.